Hello guys, Sathonon here. This is the Daily Grind, this is DC Legends, and the reworks for May are already live. Today is Monday, the 29th, and Hal Jordan and Barry Allen Flash have received their reworks, and I'm about to check them out. Also, if you haven't logged into the game, we have been awarded 500 gold gems for the problems with the alliance missions this week. So let's go check the Flash first. And I'm told he's got a new passive, and there it is, Flashpoint. So what's about the speed punch? Light damage, 50 chance to strike twice. These haven't changed. And it's a guaranteed speed up every time he attacks. So he's self-sustaining now. So I'm taking this. For people who ask, what is build order? It's a method to choose the most beneficial legendaries first. But at a certain point in the game, it's more about which one you don't take, especially if you're legendary 3, 4. And if you are legendary 5, it doesn't matter, just take everything. Red streak, gain debuff immunity. This hasn't changed. Gain 2 speed ups, and it's 100% to purge at maximum, but I don't have it maxed out. Speed vortex, 10 damage per speed up, and the upgrade cooldown -1 and 50% chance to gain 30% turn meter up. This one looks cool. I'm gonna wait a bit to see the rest of them. And one speed is 41% chance to use a speed punch on random enemies at the end of each ally's turn. Alright, so this one got better. Extra 25% chance to use red streak. I'm gonna take that one, but later. And the new passive is Flashpoint. 65% chance to start with to get an additional speed up each time Flash gains a speed up on his turn. And what's the upgrade? All of Flash attacks ignore awareness if he has 3 plus speed ups. Well, this one is better. So I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna upgrade him to legendary 4, and I'm going to take this one right now. So it's either pretty much all or nothing. His least useful powers would be this one. Well, no, in fact, maybe the speed vortex and red streak are going to be his least desirable upgrades. And now let's go check Hal Jordan and see how he performs. Both are for me gear 10. So his first upgrade, call assist if Green Lantern is shielded. This hasn't changed. Apply 24% shield to a random teammate. The change is that this is no longer conditional. Now he's always going to give shield to a teammate. So yeah, cold assist. The strength of will, gain 40% shield, 25% meter up, apply 10% shield to all teammates. When strength of will is used, reduce cooldown of all abilities by 1. I had this before, I'm gonna take this one again. Hammer time, can't miss, and purges 10 buffs from target, anti everything. So yeah, let's take that one. Hard light, this passive was useless. At the beginning of each enemy's turn, 48% chance to gain 1 agility up and 1 int up if Green Lantern is not shielded, and also gain 10% shield. This is still pretty much worthless because of the amount of int up and agility up that he can earn. But now let's see his leader. Apply 1 debuff, immunity, and 30% shield to all allies at the start of the battle. Okay, so it's no longer free rage immunity. So let's see the upgrade. Apply an extra debuff immunity to all allies. He's been made better, but now you have to have Brainiac. That's pretty much it. Newbies have no chance against Harley teams. So it really depends if the debuff immunity I'm gonna go with this one because it's on the enemy's turn, and let's go check them out. As you know, I like to do this on... Oh, I ran out of heroics, so you? No, not you. Well, it's going to be you. And Mary Marvel. And Dr. Fate. Just because, not for any particular reason. I wanted a table 4. So the Green Lantern the only real change is that now you can start with Jordan outside of leader, and it not being a terrible move because he will gain shield on the enemy's turn if for whatever reason he doesn't have shield, and he should give yes. So Flash is now pretty much self-sustaining. But he now doesn't go crazy with the vortex, so I think he's less fun. Yeah, and Jordan is going to give meter to everybody. Using his basic normally. But here's the important thing. Flash is going to ignore awareness, but he's not going to can't miss. So he can still be dealt with evasion. Gives a nice stack of speed ups. That can I give you? Yeah, but that meter up is not looking good. I haven't seen it propped, or maybe it's so small meter. Perhaps if gear 11 he performs better. But yeah, this is a nice update, but it's not going to make either Jordan or Flash viable for people once they get newer tunes. I mean, Flash is still cool, but I don't know, he has lost something. And yeah, these two have to go to the drawing table again. Because now he gets one speed up every time he attacks, and he gets speed ups passively. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I will. I will have to really play with them on PvP. But Um, I'm not impressed. Uh, Jordan has moved up a little in power. Flash too, but power, the number is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything at all. Gain debuff immunity. This one, is the one that became underwhelming because you lost the use of the Speed Force out of turn. I thought that Flashpoint was going to do that, and that's just ignore awareness if he has 3 speed ups. And it's 100% to ignore the awareness. Yeah, this is like you can use the red streak, and uh, then he'll self-enable on the first turn by using red streak, because he'll get like 90%, 65, 75, 85, 95. Yes, 100%. Um, he will get 3 speed ups on round 1 if you use red streak, and then um, then he gets to attack right away with a speed punch, and then he will gain two additional speed ups. And since technically it's still its turn, he will end up with like 6 or 7. So he will work better with Kid Flash. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm on the fence about this. This is pretty underwhelming. And Jordan, well, he's now self sustainable forever because if he doesn't have shield, then he gets shields. And I mean, this hard light should just lose the conditional. Like at the beginning of each enemy's turn, it's not 100%. I think it's 65. It's 52, 56, 60, 70% chance. You could park this at 65% chance to get the int and stamina up, agility up, I mean, and lose the conditional. Just a flat 65% chance of at each enemy's beginning of the turn get one agility up, one intelligence up if Green Lantern is not shielded. Yeah, that's what makes this pretty much useless. I mean, you have to not have a shield to gain shield, and then afterwards, um, you only ever get one. Then his old useless passive was better because that was a flat chance if he was shielded to get one agility up, and the upgrade was also same chance of getting one strength up, which helped him but not a lot. It was very difficult to amass strength ups with Hal Jordan, but at least he was tanky. And now the only nice thing was this can't miss on the hammer time and the shield for teammates. Now he will get 30% shield, 45% shield from the strength of will, and 10% to allies. Works the same. So pretty much, if you have Hal Jordan now, if you're a newbie, start with 1-3 or 3-1 will be the way to build this. If you have legendary 3 or above, just check 1, 2, 3, 5 and leave this one alone completely. It's useless. Don't even waste rings on this thing. This is a mess. And what's his speed at gear 10? Because he was very speedy, but his HP is not the best. That's 113. I think he went down in speed. And I think they buffed his strength, his base strength, but he's still very weak. So yeah, a complete pass on Hal Jordan to go to gear 11. get better greens. And for the Flash, it's pretty much the same, but now he can ignore awareness. Should have gotten a damage immunity. 127 speed. Add gear 10, so that's like 5 more, 130 something. But the fastest in the game, yeah, reverse flash is still going to be the fastest. So speed is not everything right now. Turn meter manipulation has become much powerful in between the speed grid meta and today. You're better off with tunes that give themselves meter. So I'm just gonna check this. Because I don't understand this one. Cooldown -1 and 50% chance to gain 30 turn meter up. So I think it's after you use the speed vortex, you get the speed up. So I have to come play. Alright, let's check this one. Sorry if this looks a little slow. It's because this goddamn game has to download everything again every time there is an update. Ah. So who to choose? Alright, let's go like this. Maybe if Flashpoint made it so Flash can't miss, and then run a percentage opportunity to, yeah, that's 3 speed ups. Nice. It's a can't miss here. If it was a flat chance, a can't miss just from the passive, and then a chance to purge debuffs, then they ignore the awareness, would make sense. Yeah, the meter down, well, the meter up for Flash is after using Speed Vortex. But it looks like his speed ups are no longer permanent. Ah, come on! Aquamoa shouldn't be able to kill Hal Jordan. Not miserably like that, at least. That was a clean one shot with shield. Flash can now properly ignore the penguin defenses too. So this is solving a problem that didn't exist, pretty much. And Fate is gonna buy the farm, yeah. Now this was versus a team non-meta gear 10. I'm just gonna check if Aquamoa was gear 10. Yep, gear 10. And now Aquamoa can one-shot Green Lantern. So they did something to Green Lantern. He's no longer as tanky as he should be. All right, so let's try this. The only good thing is that Flash is self-sustainable. And let's go with this. And with this. Yeah, out of turn attacks, but without can't miss. This is pretty much smooth because this is the guy. This is one guy that's going to give you trouble. Batman Cape Crusader gets those evasions up, and now he's going to kill one of my blues. Because Flash can still miss. And there you go. And he still has speed ups, evasion ups. And Jordan is taking forever. I mean, Flash can attack 10,000 times in between rounds. And now it's a moot problem. They made Green Lantern slower. Or he feels slower, way slower than he should be. And I'm running, well, I ran out of gear 10 opponents. Let's see. Alright, let's take Fate out and instead go with that be up. I know. Luthor. Luthor and this girl. because these guys need some survivability. But I'm not impressed. Flash was way more fun when he had only one passive with two effects. Now, don't get me wrong, it's cool that he is now self-sufficient, and this was before it was fixed. This always worked like this. So this is just making official an old bug. Speed ups for everybody. Well, at least he can steal one shot. Greens and debuff immunity will be nice for this. Yeah, but I'm not impressed with the reworks. You could spam red vortex like this before. But at least Jordan is viable now again against Mad Jester combinations. So let's try this one. Yes, the archetypical uh, okay, so let's do it like this. But I have to change Flash. And I'm going to try Luthor and who else do I want? Oh yeah, Jordan. Just to see Jordan out of leader. He should start getting at least the int up and the agility up. Yes. There it goes. Now this is can't miss, so there's that. But Jordan no longer has survivability. So yeah, this works, but it doesn't work. So let's try it the other way around. And I'm gonna need Wonder Girl. I hate having to resort to Wonder Girl. With Silopostli 69. Why not the Skadlipoka? So yeah, like this. To protect to protect and to serve, and this guy and this guy, like this. It's 27k. So yeah, leaders are gear 10 and everybody else is gear 11. That goes to show just how overpowered Badger is if you don't have can't miss tunes. Because you pretty much have to negate her leader skill and her passive that heals her teammates. Well, the debuff immunity is applied before the Harley Enrage, so that's a point for Hal Jordan. But he's now super squishy, and if he is shielded, then he doesn't get the extra bonus things on the enemy turn, so he pretty much doesn't have a passive at all, and it's only going to ever give you one. So if they don't lose the conditional of not being shielded, make it a stack of 5 each, because this is worthless. Seriously, this is worthless. The only good thing is that now he gives me meter shield without conditions, without it being a random number, random chance. That is cool. So yeah, he's a better poor man's Brainiac. And if you pair him with Batman Detective, it's redundant that his strength of will gives a cooldown -1 to all his moves, because, well, between Batman and Donna Troy, he's always going to have his moves available. So there's that. So yeah, Jordan doesn't have a passive anymore. For all practical purposes, he might as well not have a passive. And it's never going to proc. He has to be without shield, and if you have the upgrade, then it gives him just 10% shield. So this helps Jordan be self-sustainable if he is outside of leader, but why would you run him outside of leader? If you have Brainiac, why would you bring Hal Jordan on the team? Well, because he can give shield to everybody, so can Firestorm. And Dr. Fate, even though he is slower. I don't know. Yes, he's better now for newbies, but once you reach Legendary 3 with him, you can pretty much stop farming for him, or just stop at Legendary 2, take his 1, take his 3, and call it a day. Because you are not going to gain anything from being Legendary 4 or Legendary 5, except having a rebirth for him, just because. Alright, so let's go Jordan versus Jordan in an equally. Well, he now reaches 8,000 points when rebirthed. So there's that. Well, maybe you can turn him into a stone machine I don't know. I don't know what practical use you could give to Hal Jordan now that you didn't give him before. Well, he can stun, he can purge, and if you pair him, oh well, stun is a debuff, so these guys have built-in stun immunity and rage immunity in a single move. Alright, I respect that. Yep, it only procs once on an enemy start of turn, and it's such a pitiful increase that it might as well not exist. Like yes, I'm trying to think because these are first impressions. Flash, I'm completely underwhelmed. Jordan had some potential, but he's not going to fly at gear 11. I mean, when you're a new player, yes, he's going to be pivotal, and he's the easiest guy to farm because he has 4 nodes in the first 3 chapters of the story. So, considering the drop rate for the heroic nodes is 33% or 30%, that's 1 out of 3. That means that after 1 month, if you farm all of his nodes religiously, this is 1 in chapter 3, this is 2 in chapter 3, he gets the final node of chapter 2 and the first ever node in chapter 1 are Hal Jordan nodes. This average doesn't mean that every time that you are farming his node you are going to get 1 shard. No, what it means is that over time, if you farm 1000 nodes, then you are going to end up, after you finish farming, you're going to end up with at least 330 shards. That's what it means. It's not guaranteed. You can even go 1 week where you get absolutely no shards. It has happened to me farming Jordan. And then a week later or the day after, you have a terrible week like that where you don't get any shards at all. You are going to get 3 shards every time, or 2 shards and then 1 miss every time. So he has 4 nodes at the beginning of the story. That means that in average, you are going to get 4 shards of Hal Jordan every day. That's 120 shards at the end of the first month. And it will take more or less 2 months of heavy farming, not counting the PvP rewards, which, by the way, let's go check if he has been removed. Chances are he and Flash will stay. I hate this game when it makes updates because it takes forever to download everything again. I'm going to have to go out, erase it, wait until the update, re-download everything at once. It's probably around 5 gigabytes right now. So, um, Jordan is an asset because he will be most of the time your first legendary. And he's pretty farmable too. He's consistently farmable because it's cheap. That's 24, no, 36 and 36. It's 72, 108, 138 energy per day that you can dedicate to farm Hal Jordan. Is the along with Cheetah and Bane, he's the only guy who gets repeats in the first 3 chapters. But outside of that, once you get him to Legendary 2, start looking for somebody else because, uh, yeah, I don't see him working. I don't see him working at all. Yeah, I run out of space because this dumb game doesn't erase. I want you to see this because this is proof. I mean, people say, oh, don't be negative. This is not being negative. A game shouldn't work like this. I have DC Unchained installed in this same phone, and it has gotten updates that are way bigger than what we get on DC Legends. And it doesn't stop working just because it's filling up space. Um, my Knights of the Zodiac game is still under 2 gigabytes of installation and has been out for 6 months, and it erases the update it downloads to install. It properly erases that download and it properly overwrites the old stuff. So yes, it's getting bigger every time they introduce something to that game, but it's doing it in tens of megabytes. Like an update comes and it just adds the new character or the new map, and it's just 10 or 20 megabytes. So it has been growing by maybe 300 megabytes in total in 8 months. And this damn game can take up 5 or 7 or 10 gigabytes of space for reasons because nobody knows why it happens. So yeah, I have to now go back out, erase everything, re-download the game, reinstall, and then I'm suspecting that tomorrow we are going to get the update for the events proper for Jay Garrick. So I will have to again erase the game from the cell phone, re-download and reinstall, and then re-download everything again. Again. They have to fix this. Seriously. I mean, I'm doing content and whatnot, and I enjoy the game, but enjoying the game for what it is doesn't mean that you condone of stuff like that. This is unforgivable. It's 2019. Games from the 90s didn't work like this. Games from the early 2000s didn't work like this, and we had online already on consoles for the home. I don't know if you know, but there were Java games that had online back in the early or the middle of the 2000s before smartphones. But if you go check, it's been 13 years since the first true smartphone launched, and it's been over 10 years since the first Android phone launched. This is bullshit. There's no other way to call it. This is bullshit. This is bad programming because they don't invest. Uh, because some of you people, that's the reason I don't spend money, because some of you people spend so much money that this thing is still profitable even if it's a piece of crap piece of software. And I don't mean any disrespect. You have it on the screen. If it's not this, and this is a 32 gigabyte phone, and this game forces me to only have other two games that are 3 gigabytes among them. So this single game is bigger than two games with more content. Actual content, not number of characters, actual content. It has forced me to uninstall Life After because of this. And I have to constantly be backing up photograph videos I take. I have to constantly back them up. And this is starting to get infuriating because it's happening more often. I could fix, quote unquote, I could fix this by buying a flash card, a 32 gigabyte flash card, and doubling my storage space. But that's not fixing it. That's like if your roof has leaks and it starts raining, you can either fix the leaks or you can grab a tub or something and put it under the leak, and that will also stop your stuff from getting wet, but it doesn't fix the problem. So uninstalling stuff, backing up my stuff, is the equivalent of putting a tub or a case or a I don't know the word actually for olla in English. I know cauldron, but nobody uses cauldrons anymore. A pot. It's the same as putting down a pot under the leak and then having to go grab the pot and hurry to the sink, pour it down, and then put the pot again before it gets too wet. That's the equivalent we have to do. You have to go and say, oh, what is something I don't actually need on the phone 100% of the time? Okay, let me back that up. So my poor DC Legends has a space to grow. It feels like this goddamn thing it's a virus sometimes. And if it's not this, it's the out of sync issues. And if it's not the out of sync issues, then it's the alliance missions that don't refresh or don't give the rewards on time. That's pretty cool because we have gotten 1,000 gold gems for free as compensation between yesterday and the day before, because it's been 2 days that the missions don't update properly. But it's just a symptom of the underlying problems this game has, along with some of the balancing and design. And yes, I complain, and I'm very vocal about it because I want this game to improve. This is something I always repeat when stressing this out. I want the game to improve. I enjoy the game immensely, but I'm not blind, and I know this game has problems, and it has very, very deep, big problems. This is not something like an skill failing to proc properly every time, or it's not like that rule that is not a rule, it's mostly an exception with pointers that passive don't proc passives, except when they do, when they don't. Except those times, passives never proc passives. Like there's a difference of on death and when an enemy dies. Because it's different. If the skill says if the character kills an opponent, that's one thing. If an enemy dies, doesn't mean necessarily that the character attacking performs the kill. And on death is different from these other two cases, but that's semantics. And that's a problem because there's just no space to properly describe how the skill works. So you have to do trial and error, document it, and then report it. And that rule of passives don't proc passives, it's not a rule. Somebody was asking why sometimes the second attack of the guys who have two attacks on the same turn doesn't always proc stuff. He was given a blanket response. Passives don't proc passives, and that's the reason. And people assumed it was a rule. But like everything on DC Legends, all the rules work 100% of the time, except in those times when they don't work. And the only constant in DC Legends is that there is no constant. A event might drop stuff one way the first time it's performed, then the second time the event comes, it's not working like that anymore because it has changed. The only constant in this game is that things don't stay the same. So, like, the reworks go live 2 days after the announcement is made. No, we had Easter this month. And the rule actually is if there is a holiday happening on the day something usually happens in the game, then they will move the schedule up and they will give you all the information beforehand because nobody is going to be at the office on the day off, on the holiday. You catch that? That's how it works. So now on the first Monday, because we are not complying with the usual way that the reworks go live, because reworks usually go live on a Tuesday morning, and then at around 2 p.m. Central Time, the patch goes live, and then the next month starts. So we got the reworks on Monday, and now maybe today we'll also get the patch at a later point in the day. But maybe not. Maybe the patch will go live tomorrow. Last month there was no announcement for reworks. There was no information on the schedule for the next month until the month started. And the information usually goes live on the 28th of each month. So that's how it works. You get the announcement for the next month on the 28th. Then 2 days later, when the month is starting, the reworks go live. But the rule that supersedes all of this is that if there is a holiday, they will move the stuff to before the holiday because they cannot automate stuff worth a damn. And the rule that supersedes that one is stuff always works one way until it doesn't. And the rule that supersedes all of these other rules is the only constant in DC Legends is that nothing is permanent. If it used to work one way, it's like investments. Past performance is not an indicative of future performance. If you catch my drift. Well, anyways, I like leaving these screens on for as long as possible, just so people can get it through their heads. This game has issues, and they are real issues. Now, I don't have a data cap on my internet because that's not a thing in my country. But I know it's a thing in many countries that have high speed internet. So supposing that you only had one cap of, let's say, 50 gigabytes, and it was eaten up by DC Legends, would you be okay with that? Because that's more or less the amount of data that this thing is moving. Because every time downloading content appears on your screen, it's downloading crap in the background, or has finished downloading crap in the background. And it's usually movesets, and it's character models, and it's animations. And character models are the biggest data wasters in games, along with sounds, but we don't have many sounds. But just the soundtrack alone, the music that plays during encounters, those 5 megabytes, multiply that for the times you hear that, because I'm pretty sure that it downloads the assets for the background in the background. That's more or less how much information DC Legends downloads during a month. Because you have to purge and re-download everything at least twice a month, so that's like 6 gigabytes just from downloading the game. And then every time they patch something, every time the downloading content appears on your screen, it has to download again. If you run on PvP against somebody who that motherfucker paid 1000 gold to have the original skin for the character, it has to download that character again. Because I don't know why. And then you run out of space. So please don't be that guy and tell me that, well, that happens to you because you only bought a 32 gigabyte smartphone. Like, 32 gigabytes is a ton of space for cell phones. Even if you are recording on high definition with all the tricks enabled and at 60 frames per second, that still leaves you with like 40 minutes of video, and that's a ton of video. You try filling up 4 hours of video. Yeah, neighbors said at it again. They're listening to drunk stuff in the middle of the day. Um, so there you have it, guys. Underwhelming reworks that are good for newbies. But please, by all means, get them to Legendary 1 or 2. Get your other tunes and then abandon them. They need a rework of the rework. I don't know what to think. I'm really pissed about this running out of space bullshit. So, well, I'm just going to close the video here. I hate giving downers, but this is the reality of the game that other people don't touch. Uh, I really feel we should make this more public because it happens often enough. It happens to me at least 2 times per month because I play other games. And if you tell me, well, that's not the game fault, why are you playing other stuff? Well, because my life doesn't revolve around DC Legends. I'm gonna state it again in case you missed it. I only play DC Legends because that's a fast game and easy and doesn't need a lot of attention. But yeah, I don't hold the DC Legends on my top 10 game list. I I'm not. Oh, damn! I could really be playing DC Legends right now. No, that would be Life After, and I'm really missing that game. Well, anyways, it's again an hour-long video, but at least I'm making stuff known about the shortcomings of this game, and it's pretty much underwhelming reworks for Flash and the Green Lantern. So see you again next time. Ooh, butts.